Welcome, class. This is Mr. Parr. We're in Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. This is the editing software we're going to use this semester for Film 101. I'm going to first start off here in the viewer, what I call the viewer. It's where you can drag clips in and cut them up and drag them on the timeline. I'm not going to get into the timeline yet or what that means. I'll just drag a clip up there. Visually, you can see the clip if you see what I'm showing you. And now I'm going to show you an example of an in and an out here up in the source window right here. So here's an in and here's an out. Now I'm going to drive it on the timeline. So you got about maybe 4 seconds, 3 seconds that is up here in the timeline. If you can think of this window, the viewer, as a pre-edit to the edit. So in other words, you cut up videos in this window and then you drag them on the timeline. So that's one of the things you can do in this window. Now we're over in the canvas on the top right-hand side of the this interface, Premiere Pro. This is a final visual representation of your video. So simple. What it looks like. You can do some edits in here. You can do some quick edits, but I'm not going to go into that right now. I just want to give you a basic understanding of what this is. Now we're going to go back down to the project file. Now the project file is where all your media is stored. Just plain and simple, that's where it is. Okay. Now there's tabs above it, history, markers, info, media browser. I'm not going to go into that, but I'll click on effects. This is most of the things you're going to do in editing inside of this effects panel. So you have audio effects, you've got balance, band pass, bass, channel volume. I mean, you can go, I could go into detail, but right now this is not the video for it. Audio transitions are the same thing. I can go into detail, but it's not going to help you out right now. So right now you got video effects, and in video effects you got color correction, you got distortion, basically what you can do to improve the video, color-wise or otherwise. So now video transitions are when a video transition is when the first part of a clip is stopped and it goes into another clip. So I'll give you an example. Here's one transition. Here's another transition. And I'll drag it over here on the timeline. So where this starts is a video transition. You can do a crossfade. You can do, I'll give you an example. That's a crossfade or whatever, iris cross, and you can see what it looks like, and I'll show you right now. So that's what I just gave it an effect, and that's what it looks like. So now we're back on the timeline, the last part of it that I edited. And the timeline is where most people or professionals edit, from my experience. They don't. They chop up video here in the viewer and they drag it down here on the timeline, but most things are done down here in your timeline. Now, two things you need to know about your timeline. You can lock your video, you can lock your audio. And what that means is once I unlock this, I can move my video over there. I can move my other video over here, which means all you have is audio without video. You can do video without audio. So it's sort of a way of thinking how to move video and move audio. Now you can do the opposite. You can move your audio over here away from your video, which gives you a lot of options when you think about it. what you want to do. So what I just did is ripple delete. I'll explain to you what that means later. Now, one of the other things on the timeline I do want to explain to you is this red line right here. That means it's not rendered. Rendered, I'll give you a definition of rendered. Rendered means it's written, meaning you can finally, you have it fixed enough to where the media outsources can read what it is and put it into a final product. Right now, the way it is, these two video clips cannot be rendered because of that red line. Now, what you do in a PC is that you press enter. I'm working from a Dell computer, but I'm going to press enter, and all of a sudden it's going to render. So right now, this video is ready to render, meaning ready to write, meaning you don't have to do anything to it. So if none of your videos are able to come out or you can't fix them, that means that they're not rendered. You can't read it. It doesn't have that green light there. So if it's not coming out the way you should, then you need to render it. Okay. So you go to the end and you press return, you press enter, and it'll render. Okay. Now, that being said, you see the outline of yellow around all of these things. So I click in this window, the outline of yellow, where I'm pointing the white arrow. This means that you're working in this space. I click over here in the viewer. This yellow line means that you're working in this space. So wherever you're at, if you've got their yellow line around it, that means you can do things inside this window. But if I can't edit over here if this yellow line is here because I'm not over here. So I have to click over here to get over here on the timeline to do anything in it. Same with all the other windows. So that's Video Premiere 101. And I think that works in all editing programs in the future. So this is basically a navigation thing that I went through. I don't expect any assignments out of it. I just want you to know what is going on in this program. Thank you.